again, this is Perfected Beauty, and in today's video I show you exactly how to get these eyebrows to look nice and fluffy, nice and natural, not too blocky with no harsh lines. So hopefully this video is helpful for you. Let's get into it. So for today's video, I'm gonna tell you guys exactly how I get my fluffy eyebrow look. Basically, what I try and do nowadays when I'm doing my eyebrows is to make it look more like I'm just one of those wonderful people who are blessed with the brows. So I really try to make my eyebrows look more hair-like than just kind of like a structured block brow situation, which I used to do. I used to fill my eyebrow in solid, which I think I have a video on that, so I'll link that up in the eye. But I used to fill my eyebrow in solid and just kind of leave the front a little more faded out. But nowadays I really like to make it look like my entire brow is just hairs and they just happen to be really full and really perfectly shaped. So I'm gonna show you guys exactly how I do that, what products I use, and everything like that. It's actually really simple, really easy. So hopefully this video is helpful for you guys. Right now I don't have any makeup on my brows. I do have on some concealer and mascara, but there's nothing on my brows specifically. So I like to do my eyebrows first actually in my makeup routine, which, you know, obviously different strokes for different folks. You can do it however you want to do it, but I just prefer to do my eyebrows first because I feel like they really frame out my eye, and usually I'm doing eyebrows, then eyeshadow, then all my makeup. Unless of course it's just a basic eyeshadow look or no eyeshadow at all, then it'll be eyebrows and then straight on to the rest of my face. You want to make sure that you don't have any makeup on your face, or at least on your brows. They need to be nice and clean and fresh. Alright, so for my brows, as far as the brow hairs that I draw in, personally I just use a black cream makeup. So for my brows I use the Eye Magic Professional Cosmetics 12 color flash palette. It's a knockoff of, I can't remember who has the actual one, but you know, the 12 color flash palette. So basically what this is just cream makeup that you can use for literally whatever you want. If you want it to be concealer, you can mix together the concealer shade you need. If you want it to be lipstick, eyeshadow base, whatever it is that you want it to be, that's what this is. So I use the black from this cream makeup palette and then a little bit of the brown as well. I am a strong advocate for nobody has black brows. Of course you have black brows if you dye your brows black or if you just so happen to have jet black hair, but 9 times out of 10 you have dark brown hair. So if you're gonna do a black eyebrow on your face, especially if it's gonna be completely filled in and completely solid, it's gonna look a little crazy. That's just my personal opinion. I never ever put black brows on anyone, but I do, especially with this technique where I'm really just drawing in hairs versus filling in a whole brow. I do like to add in some black and some brown because it just makes it look that much more structured and that much more defined. You don't need too much of it. I just take a little palette knife and I go in to the palette and I'll get out about that much of the product. And even this is kind of a lot of it because you're going to be mixing the black and the brown and you only have 2 eyebrows and you're not filling them in completely. So you just want to get out as much as you think that you'll need, and then I just wipe that right onto my makeup palette, and then I do the same with the brown color. I just get out a little bit of it and I put that onto my palette. So that is actually what I use to fill in my brows, and then to carve out my brows, to shape them, I just use the good old LA Girl Pro Concealer. Mine that I'm using is in the color Fawn. I take a little bit of that and squeeze it out onto my palette, and now you're ready to do some brows. So as far as brushes are concerned, I use 2 brushes really for my eyebrows. I guess 2 and then an optional one because I also use a big concealer brush to blend the concealer down onto my eyelid. But as far as the eyebrows are concerned, I like to use this one, which is an angled, I think it was originally an eyeliner brush. It's super fine at the tip. It gives you really good straight clean lines. And then it's angled as well. And I like both of those things to draw in my eyebrows. And then I like to use this very small rounded concealer brush to carve out my eyebrows. So I like to use these 2 brushes. This is really all that I need as far as doing my eyebrows. And then, like I said, a big fluffy concealer brush to blend out all the concealer and spread it all over my lid. I'm gonna start with my eyeliner brush that I use to draw in the hairs, and then I just go right onto my palette and I dip the brush into the black and also the brown and just mix until I get the color that I want to use for my eyebrows. And you can do this with any makeup product. So if you use the Anastasia Dip Brow, you can use that for your eyebrows instead of mixing two colors together. If you already have something that's like the color that you want, or NYX Brow Gel is something else you can use. You can literally use anything. This is just what I use because I have it, and I like the fact that I can custom blend the exact shade of my eyebrows that I want, but use whatever you have. And then once you load up your brush, so now I've got that product right there on the tip of my brush. What I like to do is actually start at the arch of my brow and then just do upward diagonal hair strokes. And I like to start at the arch of my brow because that really basically controls the shape of your eyebrow. So I want to make sure I do that first and get that exactly how I want it, and then I just add in hairs anywhere else that I may need them. But also the arch of my brow specifically is where I'm weakest in like actual eyebrow hairs. So I like to make sure I get that filled in first because then it's easier to see where I want to go with it. So I'm just drawing in little hair strokes. And it's obviously much easier to do this if your eyebrow is already like waxed in shape, because then you can just literally follow the natural line of your eyebrow. So you can see I started at the arch of my brow and then I just went on and filled in the tail of my brow. I try not to do too much on the tail of my brow until I've done the other one because I like to make sure that they match. So once I've done both the arch and the tail, then I just go ahead and move upward and fill in some hairs. You really want to be mindful of the direction that your natural brow hairs go, because if you're drawing your strokes in that direction, it'll just make it look that much more natural. And then when I'm getting closer to the front, I like to use more brown than black. And that's pretty much how I do it. The one last step that I like to do at the arch of my brow is I go up. I don't know if you've ever seen any of those like microblading videos on Instagram where they show you the pattern that they draw the hairs into, but basically once you get about here on your eyebrow, your hairs start to kind of come down and meet each other. So the top hairs are coming down this way and the bottom hairs are going up this way, and it almost looks braided that way. So I just like to draw in a few hair strokes right at the top downward towards the rest of my brow. And this is how you still get the shape that you want on top of your brow without having to like draw in a solid line, which just doesn't end up looking as realistic. So some things that I like to keep in mind when I'm filling in my brows with the hair strokes is that I want to create a consistent line on the bottom of my brow, even though I am going to go back and clean that up with concealer. If I can make all of the brows kind of start at the same point, that will really define the base of my brow and make it look super structured, super sharp, and super clean while still keeping that natural like hairy effect. And then depending on the mood, the look that I'm going for, if I want them to look extra fluffy, extra hairy, I'll go in at the very top of my brow and just add some kind of like wild looking hair sticking out of the top of them, because if you've ever seen someone with naturally full brows, they're not always perfectly shaped and perfectly manicured. So the more kind of imperfections that you add into it, the more realistic your like fluffy brow will look. So I'll just go in, and this is, I haven't added any more products onto my brush, so this is just like with the leftover product that's on there, and then I'll just drag upwards at the top of my brow. And then I just take my finger and run it along the top if I feel like I went too crazy. That is how I fill in my brows. After that, the only thing that's left to do is to take your concealer on your rounded brush and just carve out the bottom of your brow. And now that I've got the bottom of my brow carved out, I'll just fill in my entire lid with concealer. So I just went into the very front of my brow and added in a few more hair strokes to kind of extend it a little further inward. And that is pretty much my finished fluffy brow. I'll go ahead and do my second one on camera so that you can watch it before we move on to the next step. gently filled in, nice and fluffy. So the last step for me specifically, because I use that cream makeup instead of like a self-setting brow product of some sort, this cream makeup is gonna stay wet, it's gonna stay creamy until it's set with the powder. So I just like to go in with a little of my Sacha Buttercup powder on a nice fluffy brush and tap very gently over top of the eyebrows, because I don't want to move anything from where I have them placed. I just want to make sure that they're set and that they're not going anywhere all day long. So I'm just taking that powder in the cap of the container and just tapping into it, and then tapping that onto my brows. I also will just come down to my lids and set my lids, because why not? And then once you've got the powder all over your brows and they're nice and set, you can go ahead and brush away any of the excess powder. And then the last thing that I like to do is just go ahead and hit it with some Mario Badescu Rose Water to get rid of any powdery cast that may be on there, and tap that with my makeup sponge. And there you have it, ladies and gents. This is how I do my fluffy eyebrows to make them nice and natural looking, a little realistic, and I love them. This is how I've been doing my brows for a little bit now, for quite a while, but I did get a request to film this video and show you how I did them, so there you have it. I hope you guys love it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Go ahead and give it a like if you liked it. Leave a comment down below if you have any ideas of any videos that I should be doing. If there's anything you would like to see from me, leave a comment. This video was a comment and I did it. Leave a comment down below and I will try and get to that. And also subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, so that you can never miss another upload. Hit the notification bell and it will let you know as soon as I post, so that you can be amongst the first people to watch my new videos. Thank you guys so much. Share this video with a friend. Share this video, because we all have that friend. Share this video with that girl whose eyebrows are extremely questionable, but you don't really know how to say it. Just send her this video. Hey sis, how are you? We gotta do something about the brows. Let's do it together. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in my next one.